Fucking the UVTV motherfucker. I'm gonna kick spiritual ass and dudes for my people. On God. Neon nigga for Featherman, yeah. Today I'm gonna be talking about why they refer to the spirit as the breath. Now, just in general, right? Because they end up saying some shit like the breath or the breath of God or some shit like that, when it's really just based upon respiration. Respiration is just expansion and contraction. So it's going out of something, then going in something. So the same way in your lungs when you breathe in and out and stuff like that, right? When it comes to respiration, it's the breathe in, breathe out concept. So based upon the spirit, your spirit is no shape and form. And then your spirit is going to fulfill itself and make a shape and form. I thought I did feel an emotion, which is your light body. And then your second body is your physical. It's going to make the physical shape and form, organisms, organs, the flesh, the body, and the external tools and technology that get made from the flesh to make the physical world, the material world, as we are on our earth and stuff like that, to make it what it is for the most part. And then we always try to make ourselves be into a more higher consciousness or expanded awareness or comprehension or you know what I'm saying, realm of reality to have a broader attention span so we can leave these human bodies and stuff like that and ascend into a higher type being and stuff like that. And then y'all be calling that shit heaven and stuff like that. Or you know what I'm saying? Like it's like the same way how it's the same way how we can have animals as a pet, and then us being around animals and me and all of us having animals as pets and stuff like that. They can learn to get out of their lower beastly natures by learning how to be trained and domesticated and things of that nature. And then that's like an angel for that dog in general. Like they'll look at us like the higher angels or the angels and stuff like that of how to have a better way to conduct ourselves when it comes to our behavior, our character, our morality, our goddamn awareness, our knowledge and wisdom when it comes to comprehension and stuff like that, and then have a better way of how to conduct ourselves as individuals and stuff like that. You get what I'm saying? And then on a higher scale, you can look at that as the celestial bodies, the sun and moon, and the atmosphere, and the clouds condensing and stuff like that, and the different seasonal transitions, and us doing that when it comes to us trying to be like that. So you only can do that by trying to create your own atmosphere, your own world, and stuff like that. So the reason they end up calling the spirit the breath, because they're trying to show the one of a kind quality, because your spirit is one of a kind, and then your individual spirit is your soul. So it's gonna resonate with your soul based upon your genuality and your authenticity. So you always have to be a pocket of fresh air to make a particular fragrance, sense, and odor. And that particular scent and odor in the spiritual realm and stuff like that, right, is going to make you have a certain scent, a certain perfume, a certain behavior, a certain character and stuff like that that makes you look as an individual and stuff like that. So the same way how you go to Macy's or some shit and you go to get different perfumes that go based upon the essence of something, aka the scent, right? It's based upon the space that you in and what you're trying to create and produce for yourself. So that's just your spirit, just in general. It's not gonna get stuck into no shape and form, and it's gonna have a you know what I'm saying? It's gonna have like a lighter shape and form on how to go about it, and it's gonna give you that inspiration based upon the spiral that it's in, and it's gonna condense into the flesh based upon manifesting and materializing, manifesting men and women, masculine and feminine. Look at that as external and internal, aka expanding out of a mind and then condensing into a mind. So breathing in and out, like respiratory shit. So the minute, just like the minute they start talking about like character and like when they start talking about shit like, oh, like the breath of God and stuff like that. Okay, the way they look at God is like a deity or some shit like that. They don't look at God like all possibilities. They look at God like a deity, like idol worship and stuff like that. So they look at, oh, if I could be the God of the new world and stuff like that, like some light Yagami Death Note type shit and stuff like that. Oh, I can use my influence based upon the character that I'm in, and people can pay attention to me based upon my attraction energies. Masculine will be attraction. I mean, masculine would be attention, and then feminine would be attraction and stuff like that. So I can make people be attracted based upon my attention factor and stuff like that, my performance, my creativity and stuff like that. And your attention is based upon what you're paying attention to, which broadens the horizons of your attention span. But your intentions, I mean, the attention that you get is based upon your intentions. You know what I'm saying? So it's the intent behind what you're doing, and it's how you doing it. That's the thing that make your character and what makes you have a personality compared to everybody else. Because we all got personalities, but what is your character? What is your personality? And how can you individualize that shit? So just in general, right? The reason they be calling the spirit, the breath, and stuff like that, because they're referring it into that. But the spirit ain't really the breath in that type of concept and stuff like that, because it's no shape and form. You know what I'm saying? Because the spirituality is something, it's just something that's greater than you. So it's the overall reality and stuff. So it's the way how y'all look at the universe. It's not like the universe is like a noun where it's acting on its own and stuff like that. Your universe is something that is a collective of something. So based upon that universe, that's like a label and stuff like that. Inside their world and their universe and stuff like that, when it comes to music labels and stuff like that, they run things based upon our business model and their structure, based upon the big major music labels, which is just Universal Music Group, Warner and Sony and stuff like that. So that works in their universe. But based upon the different spaces between me and you and stuff like that, I could be in my own space, part of a whole different culture that has nothing to do with the industry. You get what I'm saying? As an alternative, for the most part. So that's the same way how we have different regional artists, and they all be in their own space, in their own little artists, in their own little scenes, in their own little accents, and their own little sound and stuff like that. And that works with those and those people in that environment and surrounding. And based upon the industry, how they like to industrialize things based upon that business model and stuff like that. When it comes to how they like to go about their inspirations based upon their networking and stuff like that, it works in a different manner compared to the people and things of that nature. You get what I'm saying? So we all kind of have our own little universe, but we all collectively make the universe. So it's not a thing that's acting on its own. It's more like an adjective to describe something. We can make something global. We can make something universal, but we make it what it is. And we only make it what it is based upon our own subjective point of view, and it makes the objective point of view. So we have a spiritual mission and objective of how we want to make the world and things of that nature. And then that's when it starts turning to, okay, why they look at it like spirit is the breath and the breath of God and stuff like that. But they look at God like a deity, idol worship. So from them looking at it like a deity, idol worship, and iconography, you can do that with a thought, idea, or a feeling or emotion of what you believe something is. So that's why they make different belief systems, so they can put you in a religious column or some shit like that and try to control y'all beliefs and stuff like that, and control y'all morality and what y'all look at as right and wrong and stuff like that, so you can get your power taken away, and you never give power to yourself and what resonate naturally with you, and what you feel is right and wrong for you to do. You get what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna give it to God at that point, all possibilities. Oh, you're just gonna let it happen, and you experience it yourself, and then you start to find out, oh, okay, this is actually like wrong for me to do. You know what I'm saying? Oh, this is actually fucked up. You know what I'm saying? I see how far that goes. So then it started turning into, okay, you're going to start getting more grace because you're learning how to be more productive instead of being a degenerate and stuff like that. You're going to find a new way to generate it instead of you deifying something, getting lost into idol worship of a certain thought, idea, feeling, or emotion. You know what I'm saying? You let something play out for a certain point of time, and you let it expire, so you don't get lost into a certain spectrum or diaphragm of how the world works and stuff like that. You actually in life for real, so you start controlling and creating the type of life that you want to create for yourself and things of that nature, and you start to expand out of a mind and then condense into a new one and stuff like that. So look at that as, in the flesh, you have more experiences, physical experiences, and long different travel and meet new people and different cultures and stuff like that, so you can have more of an attention span for a better awareness and perspective, instead of having a isolated perspective where it only works inside your little local city and stuff like that, but the minute you go outside your city, it's not like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like, you gotta know the energies and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with, you know what I'm saying, bringing some new energy to where you located at, just in general. But I'm just making that as like a metaphor, like an allegory, so you can understand what the fuck I'm trying to talk about, just in general. So the reason why they refer to the spirit as the breath, and the character itself is like the breath of God and stuff like that, is because they want to be the main expansion and contraction energy, masculine, feminine energy. You know what I'm saying? Light and heavy energy, positive and negative energy, just in general, of certainty and uncertainty. And the only way you can be in the spirit is if you in the breath of God and stuff like that. But they gonna put a whole bunch of different iconographies out here so you can look at God like a deity, and then that's it. Like, that's it. You know what I'm saying? So just in general, right? You have to look at God more like all possibilities. Oh, God make things possible to make it so we can do what we do in the first place, and it's gonna give a creative ability for you to do that. So God giving you the ability to be like it itself, not to say like, oh, we all gods, like a deity and stuff like that. I'm trying to make y'all separate from that. It's not like, oh, you're like a god, like a deity or some shit like that. No, like, you're a god and goddess, aka you have a mentality, you have a character. But is it something that's based upon genuality of something that you created for yourself, or you just got lost into idol worship and some degenerate shit, or you got put into a column based upon business, religion, politics, education, entertainment, and culture, or some type of monetary gain based upon a funding system, and you think that's important in the world because you learned that shit from Walt Disney or Lionsgate or 20th Century Studios and Fox News and stuff like that, of how to get attention or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, the different shit you learn from watching too much movies and too many TV shows and too much YouTube or something like that. Like, did you make that shit up and that actually align with you and your people based upon the sentiment, or is that some shit you learned on TV? You know what I'm saying? Like y'all gotta actually think in real life first. You get what I'm saying? So just in general, right? Yeah, it's not no thing where it's like, oh, I'm getting the breath of God based upon me being in the spirit, because a lot of the shit they be putting out here based upon religion, because religion is just a legion of people, like a creed or like a cult of how they look at God, which is just some deity or some idol worship, just in general. So y'all look at y'all catching the Holy Spirit or some shit like that, or like y'all have a lot of spirit, like, oh, I got the breath of God and stuff like that, when it's not really that. Because it's based upon the pretenses of how they look at God. They look at God like a deity. So you be thinking, oh, I got all the spirit and stuff like that, so I am God because of this, that, and the third. No, it's not saying you are possibilities and things of that nature. No, all possibilities can just run through you, but God or all possibilities ain't just gonna give a fuck about your ass. It's anybody who just in the energy or in that space just in general. But it's not a thing to where you're gonna be God in general overall. You can just be something like God. You get what I'm saying? You can just be something like it, but you're not that in itself. You know what I'm saying?